Hello guys, RMP792 here. Just wanted to do a couple of quick vlogs to talk about some stuff I've been playing recently that I'm not going to cover on the channel. Well, not with a full play and review series, but that I figured, what the hell, that they're kind of big games at the moment, I might as well talk about them. So, first of which is Starcraft 2, Legacy of the Void. So I'm going to talk initially with effectively no spoilers, talk about the mechanics and the gameplay and that kind of stuff, and then towards the end of the video there will be some pretty goddamn massive spoilers, but I'll warn you before they come up, okay? So, Starcraft 2. I played Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Like them, they're both very good sort of RTS games. And Legacy of the Void came out on the 10th of November, I think. Basically, I actually got it a couple of days ago, and yeah, it's really good. It really is a very, very good campaign in terms of it's of a similar sort of length to the other two. It's of the same very high quality. It's got some really good stuff in it. There's some really good individual missions. You don't get bored doing the same kind of mission again and again and again, which occasionally happens in RTS campaigns. Blizzard have always been very good at giving you lots and lots of different stuff to do in different missions. So you've got the one where you're locked in and defending a place, and you've got the one where you're escorting stuff, and so on and so forth. And they've always been really good at that. So I have absolutely no complaints about that kind of stuff. The in-between mission stuff is it's really good again. I've got to be honest, I freaking love the Spear of Adun. It is gorgeous, because that's basically your main ship for this. You had the Hyperion in Wings of Liberty. You had whatever the hell that Leviathan was called in Heart of the Swarm. I don't think it had a name actually. Let's just call it Kerrigan's Leviathan. And now in this one you have the Protoss ship Spear of Adun, and it is gorgeous. But you get to do some interesting things with your units in this one, whereas before you basically got to mess around with, say, in the Zerg campaign you had two different strains of a unit that you could choose to make use of. Here you have three different factions for each type of unit. And the units are broken down into things like melee infantry, and from there you have three options. So you'll have what is effectively the standard. Well, actually, no, none of them are the standard ones. In the initial mission where you get each unit, you'll effectively be playing with the bog standard version, and then each of the three is a variation on it, and you can change between them whenever you want between missions. So you're never locked into a specific one. So your zealots, for example, can be upgraded to have either a honking big sort of staff that gives them a really powerful whirlwind attack, or they can use Dark Templar ideology, which gives them a kind of charge and stun attack, which is really good. And there's lots of different things, and I mostly like this system, but it's got a few niggling annoyances later. Specifically things like when you finally unlock the carriers, which as you would expect you don't do till quite near the end of the campaign, one of the faction choices you can use to alter the carriers is to allow you to summon a mothership. So you have a choice of carriers or a mothership, and I'm thinking, why can't I have both? I'll freely admit I am the kind of guy who likes to steamroller the hell out of things. So my optimal force is about 20 carriers and maybe a mothership as backup. But you are a little limited in that regard. It's not too bad. I don't have complaints about it. Then you've got the Solar Core, which basically, whereas previously all the bonus in Wings of Liberty, all the bonus objectives or a lot of the bonus objectives got you research points, which allowed you to upgrade your different stuff along different routes. And in Heart of the Swarm, the bonus objectives related to Kerrigan and making her stronger and more powerful. Here, your bonus objectives will most often gain you Solarite, which is used to upgrade the core of the Spear of Adun, which gives it more power in its supporting roles. So it can have a total of 6 different abilities, each of which is sort of unlocked as you go along, and each thing has 3 different variants. So the first one that you unlock is the ability to teleport in a pylon almost immediately. You know, it takes like 2 or 3 seconds to teleport in, rather than the usual sort of 15-second build time or whatever it is. And you don't actually have any mineral cost for that, which is very useful in a pinch, especially if you're, because that can teleport in anywhere, or anywhere you've got vision. So if you are using a lot of gateways to teleport your infantry straight onto the map, that can be really useful for, sneak a single scout round to behind the enemy base, then use that ability to teleport in a pylon, and then use that pylon to teleport in a load of infantry and just swarm from the rear, which could be a very effective thing. Or you can use, and a couple of those are also passives. So there's things like the ability to not have to have drones assigned to your Vespene plants, things like that, so they're just automatic. And most of these abilities are very useful. There's a couple that you look at it and go, don't know why you'd ever want that, to be honest. But for the most part, it's pretty good, pretty useful. And you do have to pick and choose, because it costs Solarite to have each of them has a sort of basic level that doesn't cost Solarite, and then they each have abilities that'll cost more. So half of them have abilities that'll cost 25 Solarite and then 50 Solarite, which is usually sort of more advanced versions of what's come before, or interesting new things. And then the other half have things that'll cost 50 Solarite or 100 Solarite. And even if you complete every bonus objective in the campaign, which I did, you're never going to have enough Solarite to afford all the top tier stuff. Which is fine, because that does make you, pick and choose and decide what's the stuff that you want. What are you going to prioritize? I, for example, there is a ability that lets you summon in a specific ally who's one of the sort of hero characters, and being able to summon him to the battlefield is shockingly useful, because he is completely invulnerable basically, and he will just trash stuff for about 30 seconds or so, and he makes a really good sort of sneak a scout in, drop him on them, and while they're distracted fighting him, move in the heavy stuff. So that's one that I used a lot, but as a result I couldn't afford the top tier orbital bombardment ability, which in the end was a powerful ability, but I would rather have the ability to deploy this hero character. So it's good, it's balanced, and I really liked it. So overall the campaign plays really, really well, and I really enjoyed it. I am now going to talk about the story of the campaign. So I'll start with the setup, so this will be spoilers for like the first 2 or 3 missions, and then I'll warn you when I get into spoilers for the rest of the campaign. So the basic setup is that after the events of the previous 2 games, the Protoss have decided it's finally time to retake their homeworld of Aya. And so they rally the entire Golden Armada, they turn up in a massive force, and then they land on Aya, and everything goes straight to hell. As you would expect. I'm not going to spoil how it goes straight to hell, but the main character, whose name I can't bloody remember, it's not Arcturus, it's something very similar to that, basically ends up having to skedaddle from the planet in the Spear of Adun, which, as I say, is freaking gorgeous, along with a few other characters. So we have Carax the Phasesmith, and we have various other characters, and you end up pootling around the galaxy, building up your forces, and so on and so forth. And it's very much your classic, invasion goes wrong, we have to skedaddle, and then we're going to do it again, but this time we're doing it right, god damn it, kind of plot. But it works, and it ties up a lot of stuff that's been building, so far. We have Amon as the main villain, so the return of effectively a god, who wants to screw everything over. And we have, appearances by Reyna, we have appearances by Kerrigan, and lots of other little things that really work. So you've got the Tal'Darim as the villains, and incidentally, I love John Delancey's performance as the sort of Tal'Darim. Can't remember what his. This is the problem with, a lot of the Protoss look very similar, and they have names that I just can't remember. I'm terrible for that. It's the problem with them all being aliens. But anyway. But yeah, and you build up your forces, and of course you do that. Massive spoilers now. There's also, after you effectively win the campaign, there is a 3-mission epilogue campaign, which I don't know for sure, but I would assume you probably only get access to that if you own copies of Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void, because that would make sense to me. Because for each of these 3 missions, the first one is Protoss, the second one is Terran, and the third one is Zerg. And it really is. It's the finale. It's the end of everything. As our 3 protagonists, Reyna, Kerrigan, and... It's not Arcturus. I know it's not Arcturus. I can't remember his name. I'm going to kick myself when I look it up. But anyway, and they all rally together, and they discover what the hell has been finally going on, and they finally take on Amon himself, and Kerrigan becomes a god. And it's freaking awesome. Look, whoever designed the look of the Ascended Kerrigan, look, I'll freely admit, I have an angel fetish, let's call it that. It's that image of a human being, basically, with sort of gorgeous wings. Because Kerrigan's always been this kind of, or Kerrigan as the Queen of Blades has always been this kind of dark angel idea with, the skeletal wings. And now the evolution from that to this sort of full-on glowing angelic being with sort of flames for hair and stuff like that, it's gorgeous. And while that last mission is an absolute pain in the arse, because I'll freely admit, I'm not a Zerg player, I actually really like the Protoss in this game, because they're actually quite defensively minded, which I like. I like the fact that they've got some really powerful turrets. But yeah, that last mission's a bit of a pain in the arse, but it's really satisfying. My biggest complaint about that epilogue campaign is that it ends with a few slides that basically tell you a little bit about what happened to the characters. There aren't enough of them. There needed to be more. I wanted to know what happened to more people. I wanted more details. It basically says, under the leadership of Zagara, the Brood expanded into some worlds around Char. Okay, and? Did everybody else just roll over and take that? Was there fighting? What happened there? But for the most part, I am very satisfied. Legacy of the Void was a very, very good conclusion to Starcraft 2, to all intents and purposes, and I can heartily recommend it. This is someone who's never played Starcraft. I've never played Brood War. My first Starcraft game was Wings of Liberty, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed Heart of the Swarm, and I'm just glad they stuck the landing, frankly. As I say, there's a couple of niggling things I don't like, but it's nothing major. It's nothing that drags down the experience. The gameplay is excellent, the story is good, the characters are pretty good, they're well voice acted, and overall I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah. So thank you very much for watching this nearly 15-minute vlog where I just kind of waffle about StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and well, thank you very much, and I'll see you in future videos.